Hello, all you geologists out there. I know you've been working hard on your geology booklet. Today I'm going to look at how rocks are formed. And this is something that I always liked doing with you in class because we get out rocks and look at them. So I'm going to give you a couple examples here of what is on this page. So it reads, rocks are grouped into three categories based on how they're formed. These three categories are igneous, sedimentary, and metamorphic. So the first rock that we're going to talk about real quick are igneous rocks. Now these rocks are formed when magma or lava cools and hardens. Examples of igneous rocks, I do have one here that I wanted to show you, and this is obsidian. And this is, I'll kind of hold it up there so you can see it. It's really dark black. It all kind of reminds you of what lava would look like after it hardened and cooled, doesn't it? And very dark in color. They're not all dark in color, but this one happens to be. And so I think it's pretty cool that that's what is coming out, that lava is coming out and it gets hard and cools down and it forms these rocks. So that was our first type, our igneous rocks. The next type of rock that we're looking at is sedimentary rock. It says most sedimentary rocks are formed from sediment. Sediment is made up of pieces of rocks and minerals. Other sedimentary rocks are formed from the remains of past life, such as plants and the shells of animals. When layers of sediment and remains of past life build up and press on lower layers, sedimentary rock is formed. It is often possible to see the layers of sedimentary rocks along highways cut through hills and mountains. So it reminds me sort of like a sandwich. You get all this stuff that's out on the ground and plants that die, leaves that have kind of crumbled, and everything keeps pressing down on itself. And eventually it forms these sedimentary rocks. And sometimes it's just kind of a bunch of different stuff together. And I have an example. This is a conglomerate. And now if you look at it, I hope you can see it. If you look at it close, you can see all those little different pieces. There's a bunch of different stuff in there. Sometimes sedimentary rocks, you'll actually see fossils inside of them from just animals that might have passed or fossils of plants and things. If you were here in first grade, you probably went on a fossil hunt and maybe collected some fossils. But this is an example of a conglomerate, just a bunch of different little stuff in it to form that rock. Sandstone is another one, an example, and you can kind of see where it looks like different things were kind of pressed together there, just like that. And on this side, I don't know if you can see, there are some lines in it, so you can kind of see where it's layered a little bit. And then another sedimentary rock is limestone. I kind of bring this one up because Centerville is actually known for its limestone, and when you're down by like Graders and Panera, a lot of those buildings in that area are actually made of limestone. I think we had at one time 3 or 4 limestone quarries here in Centerville. So I thought I'd bring this up. So when you see those little buildings, the older buildings in Centerville, they are made of limestone, which is a sedimentary rock. All right, so that was the next one. And it does go on to tell you about how it is common to find fossils in sedimentary rocks. And fossils are formed when animal tracks and imprints of plants are made in sediment. Fossils are also formed when dead animals or plants are quickly covered by sediment. Shells and bones of animals are common fossils found by geologists. Fossils give scientists a record of animals and plants that lived in the past. It's a great way to discover things that maybe aren't discovered yet. That's why I tell you, go be scientists and maybe you'll discover something really cool. And then our last type of rock, our third rock, are metamorphic rocks. It says metamorphic rocks are formed by heat and pressure. The heat and pressure deep in earth change igneous or sedimentary rock into metamorphic rock. Many metamorphic rocks seem to have bands or layers of color. Sometimes it says they are often gray or black. The one I happen to want to show you is marble, and it's not gray or black, it's actually white. Some of you are familiar with marble. You might have marble in your home somewhere. It's very strong, so lots of times they'll have floors made out of marble. So I like this one though, it's kind of sparkly. So this is a cool example of a metamorphic rock. So after all the heat and pressure to those other rocks that we just talked about, they actually turn and form into other rocks, just like a metamorphosis when a caterpillar turns into a butterfly or a tadpole turns into a frog. It's kind of that same idea with rocks. After a while, that heat and pressure will change those igneous and sedimentary rocks into a new rock, which is a metamorphic rock. So that was a quick lesson. I'm hoping to do maybe a rock share at some point. So hopefully when we come back, we're going to come back, we would be able to do something like that. So I hope you enjoyed it. Bye, boys and girls.